Disclaimer: no humans were harmed in the making of this video, only egos. Bel Air FPS presents Drain the Hurricane. My name is Lilac Walia.
And my name is Emerald Tang. Hold on, Lilac, why are you so much taller compared to me?
Well, am I wrong?
And my name is Dylan Wong.
Dylan?
You are not that tall. There, that's better.
Anyways, we are proud to present our second YouTube video on
Hurricane evacuation?
Dylan.
Hurricane evacuation.
Anyways, as a brief overview over all the topics we'll be touching on today, we're going to begin with whether you should even evacuate or not, then move on to pre-planning and looking for a good shelter and safe place to stay, and finally, what it's like to return home after evacuation.
So our first section is going to be about about determining whether you're in a condition that warrants an evacuation or not.
First of all, make sure you know your hurricane evacuation zones. After all, you don't want to be caught unexpectedly during a hurricane with no place to escape. Second, make sure you watch out for emergency alerts as they alert you when a hurricane is nearby. And third, please download hurricane tracker apps as they can be very helpful during summer months.
Also realize that in these situations, technology is always your best friend. There are certain gadgets and devices you can use, such as flashlights. You can use a portable charger in your mobile phone, and even radios if you have them, make sure they're all fully charged.
Speaking of technology, there are several apps and websites that you could use. For example, weather.gov, Wonderground, and Stormpulse are all examples of websites. As for apps, you could use the weather app on your phone, Dark Sky, which is compatible with iPhone and iPad, and finally, Weather Underground Forecast, which is compatible for Android. But come on, to be honest though, who uses an Android?
That's not true.
It's
Androids are
okay,
actually
but
pretty cool.
every single
You can
friend,
have
okay,
really good
with the
photos.
exception of
You have
I don't know, one
customizable
person.
backgrounds.
Ladies, you both are pretty. Moving on.
I'm not a girl.
Anyways, here are some other things you should keep in mind during a hurricane. First, you may need to make sure to weatherproof your devices. If there are no custom cases that you can store your phone in, even a Ziploc bag would work. Also, some devices come with a silica gel that will absorb any moisture, so you can always rub that on your screen. Second, make sure to back up all your data as you don't want this to be lost. The most safe and helpful way of backing up data is uploading it to the cloud. External hard drives and USB also works in these scenarios.
So there are a couple of key scenarios where you know you should leave for sure, and I'm going to be introducing them right now. First of all, is whenever local government and emergency officials suggest leaving, that's always a key sign. But second, if you just know that you're a resident living in a flood-prone area such as the coast or in mobile trailers, please leave as soon as possible because conditions could always worsen as time goes on.
Our second section is going to be about pre-planning, or just what to do before departing.
If it is still possible to leave by car, as in the water levels are very minimal, make sure you have your license or ID on you, your first aid kit, non-perishable food, water, spare clothes, or your pet. It doesn't matter, dog, cat, pet, rock, please bring them along with you. And be sure to expect heavy traffic. After all, everyone is leaving the city at the same time as you. A disaster checklist for supplies will be left in our description box.
Next, realize that if cars is no longer an option, there are still other ways to evacuate, such as public transportation, which is still sometimes available. There's also rafts if water levels are actually very high. And you can even call 911, your local police. I'm sure they're always looking for a safe way to evacuate everyone in need.
And if you cannot leave, as per recommended by the CDC, you should first clear your yard, meaning to get rid of any grills, bikes, or lawn furniture that isn't bolted to the floor, and move everything into shelters. Secondly, you should cover up your windows and doors through buying storm shutters or boarding them up with plywood. And also sandbags can block water coming through doorways. And finally, supply your own clean water before the storm comes, just for water quality and safety. So be prepared to have your water supply cut off at any time, and you can use whatever container you want. And finally, Do not
Do not
panic.
panic.
We are
We
here.
are here to
We are here to
help.
help. Even if you plan to leave, it is highly recommended that you follow the steps above.
Section 3, shelters.
Boom! You see, if you don't be careful, that might be you someday.
If you don't have the proper shelter, Dylan.
Okay.
If you don't have the proper shelter.
Anyways, if you are seeking shelter after evacuation, there are several key primary options that you can look for, such as your friend's house, but make sure that their house is not in the hurricane evacuation zone, because then there'd be no point in leaving. You just make sure both of you are safe. Also, you can check out hotels and motels, but be careful because these rooms tend to run out really quickly. And finally, shelters, because a lot of shelters provide all the basic necessities like water, food, and sanitation.
As for some additional tips, firstly, if you need assistance finding a nearby hotel or motel to stay at, feel free to contact this number for the toll-free directory assistance. When evacuating to public shelters, make sure to check their policies to see if they meet any conditions that you might have, such as if they allow pets, etc., etc., etc. Feel free to have several plans mapped out. You always want to have like a second plan in case something fails. And if you're heading to a shelter, it's recommended that you bring more jackets and blankets since they probably won't supply that, even if there are cold conditions. And if traveling by an RV trailer, avoid campgrounds next to rivers, lakes, and bayous.
Section 4, returning home. Home, sweet home. First of all, you should always be careful of the situation. It may not be as extreme as shown in the photo, but it is important that you be on the lookout in case your house has flooded or there are dangerous critters around.
Next, after you're arriving back from a harsh storm, realize that you should only return once local authorities have confirmed that it is indeed safe to return. Also, check for loose, dangling power lines. Open up your windows and doors to ventilate your entire house. Make sure you throw away any spoiled food from the refrigerator. You don't need that staying there for any longer. Make sure that there are no gas leaks, because those can be poisonous. Finally, if anything seems off, be sure to report it to the appropriate professional, but don't go to your school principal about your broken toilet.
And just a reminder, our kits are still available. They contain all of those cool things. And for more info, you could click the link in the description. It's on the slide, but like you can't click links and slides, can't you?
Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at drainthehurricane@gmail.com or link them down in the comments below. Secondly, you should always check out our website, drainthehurricane.wixsite.com/mysite. And unfortunately, it is still under construction, but we are doing our best to get it on track.
You can also follow us on our 2 social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram. Both of our ads are on the slide, so be sure to check that out whenever you have the time.
Bye! And finally, do not panic. We are here to help. We are here to help. Even if you're planning to leave, it is highly recommended that you follow the steps above.
We probably should have rehearsed that. Boom! Like really loud and scary. And then you guys being like, no, 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 no. It's supposed to be like bow.
No, voice. You're like, go.
It's supposed to be like bow.
Say like,
Boom!
Boom. Like voice crack.
You know what, Dylan? You
You're
can say the voice
recording.
crack. I can't do voice cracks.
So you come here. We can like see audition for the best boom.
Boom.
It was so high. Viewer discretion to advise.
Wait.
Please make sure if you're wearing headphones to lower your volume during this time.
I know it's true. No, wasn't it originally?
Boom.
Wasn't it originally Bam
Boom.
though? Like
Bam.
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 Was it bam?
Yeah, it was originally Bam.
I mean,
Wait, let me look up a thunder sound on my phone.
thunder. Feel the thunder. What else? Oh no. Okay.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we
we're
still
still
are.
recording.
Oh my god.
These are great bloopers, Dylan. We're gonna be talking about height today.
Okay, but like
my name is
at
Lara
least
Qualia,
my
and I am
leg
6'4".
is literally longer than yours right here. Look at this.
Shut up! I literally those are quality.
No,
those are quality
your
things.
torso
that I
is just super long, but like our arms are
Look at my neck.
like up
it's
to
like
here.
No,
my
look
back.
at Lilac's left arm. It's like it's the height of your torso and legs.
I forgot how to say.
Did you break something?
Oh my